By name is Isabirye Bazale. I'm a mango farmer here based in a village called Nabitovu. Nabitovu is in Ivukura sub-county in Namutumba district, and this is Bukono constituency. I'm a proud farmer of mangoes, just as you see. I like farming, and specifically the mangoes, because mangoes are good. I started as a small farmer, but I'm happy that I'm growing each day that passes. Because we started with a few plants, we came to 1 acre, and as I speak right now, we are in 15 acres. Our big dream is that we have about over 100 acres, because it's a type of crop or among fruits that really gives good profits. When you compare what you invest in mangoes and what you get out of the mangoes, and you really see that it's better to go in mango farming.
So, what's the name of the farm?
We are Kilizo mixed farm. We took it as a mixed farm because we not only have only mangoes, though mangoes cover the biggest part of the farm. We also have other plants on a small scale. So we are called Kilizo mixed farm.
What does Kilizo mean?
Kilizo is we got from the name of our grand, who was a proud farmer in the community of Busoga in Usiki constituency. We grew up admiring what he was doing. He was a farmer, a rich farmer in the village, who would have enough food, who would have, at least have money in the pocket, but through farming. So he passed on, but we thought of naming him after this farm, so because of the inspiration that he gave us.
So he was called Kilizo?
He was called Kilizo Bazali, but it was normally was known as Kilizo. People used to abbreviate his name as Kilizo. So we named this farm after his name because he gave us a very good inspiration in the farming. And that's why we grew up admiring him, because he was a farmer who had enough food that fed us in the home, which had many people. And he was a farmer who had at least some money, which would even lend other people in the community out of farming. So
when did Kilizo farm, when was it initiated? When was it started?
We are now counting 7 years since it was initiated. But starting on a small scale, it was before these 7 years. Now together we count an experience of almost 10 years in mango farming, because it started with some few plants. We came to 1 acre, and we kept on enjoying how it was progressing and how profitable it is. That's why we came up with, we said, no, we need to come up with a name, because this now becoming a serious work for us. And we consider it being a job for us and most of the people in the community, because this farm does not only benefit me as an individual or my family, it benefits a big number of people in the community.
We shall come to that.
Yeah.
How it benefits the community. But you talked of the plants that are on the Kilizo farm. Yeah. If you don't mind, give us a picture of what plants that are on this farm.
Here majorly we have soursop and mangoes. Soursop, these are metaphyri. It's known locally, most of the people are metaphyri. So we have them also in a big number because of the medicinal part of it. People are now yearning to at least to have a taste of the soursop. That's why we also have a big number of plants on the farm. But we hope as it expands, we are going to also include other oranges and so on. But mainly here we have Mangoes taking, I think, 85% and 15% of the swasop on this farm.
Before we dig deep into the business of mangoes, what drives you? What brings you? Oh, before you say the name?
I'm Jackson.
Jackson.
Isabirye.
Jackson, what is? Let's get to know first. What is your profession? And besides your profession, what drives you to go into farming and specifically mangoes?
When you come to profession, actually, it's so different because many people have always asked me that. Did you do agriculture at any level? And for information, I did agriculture at O level. Even at A level, I was with other people who did agriculture, who even come at this time to come and get education from my farm. I totally did arts at A level, and I'm from social science. So I'm not too much in the agriculture and the other subjects which include this farming. But at least through experience, I've learned a lot, and I do a lot, which even people who did the real agriculture can't do, which I even teach them. I've been doing a lot of things in the social kind of life, changing people, lifestyle, changing people's attitudes, changing people's mindset. But with farming, it's I think inborn, or I just love it because I grew up seeing farming, participating in farming. So even after university, I felt among the things that I can do alongside the professional jobs that I do, I have to do farming. And of recent, I've learned that farming is a real business. If you really go there and you want to make money, you can easily make money. You can easily make life better through farming. That's why each day I feel like promoting mango farming to higher levels.
So you did social sciences at the university.
Yes.
So is it a result of not getting a job that brought you to? Oh, if you got a job in the social science area, what did you do in there, and you worked in that area for how long before you joined farming?
Even that now I'm still there because I do support people struggling with addiction, alcoholics and drug addicts. I'm still serving under an Augustin Recording of Hope Uganda. But still, I see farming. I have a good passion in farming because when things of changing your life and making money, I think the farming is the best way. There is just a service, and I feel good when I help people struggling with addiction and so on. But when it comes to working and improving the livelihood and adding something to my community, I think farming is the best way. Because many of the people in the community, those who struggle to move from village to go to the town, that they find better jobs in town, I try to inform them that in the village you can easily make life better than going to town. And that's why I came back at my village and started this.
So now we are starting Kilizo farm. If you talk to most of our youth, even the elderly can say that we can't start a farm because of this. We have the problem of capital, acquiring land. I mean, how did you come to one? How did you manage to acquire all the land that now we are on and we are seeing, which is 15 acres? It can be more. That's one. Two. There's an issue of capital, starting up capital. Yeah. How did you deal with that?
It starts with the mindset, because I'm trying to now educate people that starting something doesn't require to have millions of money. I've always been encouraging people to start even farming. Those who are even in a plot of fitted by 100, where you put your house, I'm encouraging people to put some plants along at the boundary. These plants, it can always provide food, mangoes for your family. Then the money that you would spend going to the market to buy fruits, you will save it. Second, that the way how we produce, the way how we care for these mangoes, if you have like 5 of them, 5 plants of them, those 5 plants are enough for you to eat in your home and even to sell some of them. So that will be the beginning of your income. When we thought of starting Kilizo farm, we did not acquire land before starting this farm. The little demand that we've been getting, saving from each season, is the demand that we are using to add on the land. Because remember, I told you that we started with 1 acre. But at least each season that goes, we're able to save some money. And from that money, we ask the neighbors to add us some land, because we feel like this farm has to expand. As I told you, this farm is at now 15 acres. But our dream is to expand this farm up to 100 acres. And God with us, and we shall achieve it as long as God is with us.
How much is an acre?
Currently, an acre goes at 4 to 5 million in this community. Yeah.
So now we're going to the business of mangoes. In your first egg,
Yeah.
what type of mangoes did you start with? What brought you to start that particular type of mango plant to be planted in that your first egg?
Yeah. In the first place, I started with a type of mango which is called Tommy. Tommy, this is in purplish color when it gets ready, and it is and it is and it's much attractive when it reaches the market. This Tommy you see, it grows in a bigger size. That when you take it to the market, it can fetch you some good money, and it's sweet even when it's raw. So when we had that 1 acre of Tommy, we went to the market and we saw how it was earning us some good money. I would take like some few mangoes in the boxes and get like 300,000 shillings. I said, wow, how much what else can you do to earn this? What if we are having like what if we are able to take like 10 boxes? So the best way is to expand the farm to 2 to 3 acres. So this Tommy is more, I think, is much better that even people can eat when it's raw. So people can easily buy whether it's ripe or not. And as we keep on moving with in this project, we realize that there is need also to think about other species for different reasons. There are some species which someone can't eat when they are raw in the farm. They are always sour, bitter. They are only sweet when they get ripe. So the people who do really disturb you eating when they are raw, they always leave them and you get money when they get ready. There are some species which take longer to mature, that even you can harvest them when other mangoes are out of season. So the more when you produce mangoes from your farm when there's a bit of scarcity, always there'll be a very good price. Like when in a season where mangoes are too much in the market, they can buy this mango at 1,000. But at the time when there's scarcity, this mango can get 3,000, 4,000. So while you sold 4 mangoes to get 4,000, you only sell 1 piece to get 4,000. So we've kept on discovering, doing more research from the farm to get to know the species which take long to get mature, those which can come out of season, those which are easy to control from people who disturb them when they are growing, and the lot. And as I speak right now, we have about 7 species in the farm.
Which are these?
We have this Tommy as the first one. We have this this is called the apple mango. To most of the people know that apple comes from Kenya, but we've discovered from Kilizo farm that apple mangoes can do even much better here in Uganda, here in Busoga. So it's one of the species that we have at the farm. Then we have also the one called the Palvin. Palvin is so good that when it comes to giving us fruits, it gives us more. From one plant, we can even have more than 200 pieces, 300 pieces. And it's also almost similar to Tommy because it gives a very good color. Those are 3 species. Then we have also the one called Kent. Kent is too huge and remains in its greenish, but it almost puts on weight like the way you see this, Tommy. This is the Kent. You see, it's almost the same with the Tommy in the size, but for it remains in green even when it's ripe. We have those are the 4 species. Then we have Zirete. We've seen somewhere in the farm Zirete. I think we've seen somewhere Zirete. Zirete is very good. It goes even at 1.25 or 1.5 kilo. When you were one time in the exhibition, I was thinking, which kind of mango? Where does it come from? People didn't know that it comes from Busoga here. It's also very good. It fetches some good money. Those are the 5. Those are 5 species. Then we have Kaiti. As we move around, we shall see also Kaiti. Kaiti is good. It's reddish in color. It's also at times so huge, and it takes long to mature in the farm. That's the type that comes after we have harvested most of the types. And by the time it gets ready, it reaches the market. When the businessmen, the consumers are really lacking mangoes. They feel like if we get 1 piece, they can even get better at 10,000. So that is the Kaiti. Then the 7th, we have Bire. Bire is the first one to get mature in the farm. That's why you're not seeing it that now. The first week, it's the first one to start harvesting. And when it gets ready, the whole tree will get ripe and you harvest at once. So those are the 7 species we have in the farm. Though when you go in the mango family, I think we have about 30 species in the country. But we only selected those few 7, which one can make a business. Because we aim at working one time, we work up aiming at 2 things. Having food in the home and having cash in the pocket. That's why we chose these 7 species, and we don't regret. Yeah.
So you are talking about farming as a business. You want to talk about, because whatever you're talking about is money. Let's go into the how much trees does go in an acre of land?
In an acre we put 300 plants, but always the spacing matters. Like the way you see, we planted this with a smaller space, but we keep on now reducing. We do the thinning always and the pruning. So that when you have an acre, you can congest them, harvest for the 4 years. When the branches keeps on meeting each other, expanding, you prune. When you see that the pruning does not really help you, then we start thinning, removing other plants. So for us at Kilizo, we can even congest them we can even put 350 in an acre, knowing that we can harvest from them in the first 4 years, then we keep on removing. That would be a loss, because if a tree is giving you 100,000 per acre, and you're harvesting twice in a year, times 4 years, those are the 8 seasons. So if each tree is giving you 100,000 or 200,000, it keeps on increasing. That will be some good money for the 4 years. So even if you remove the tree and leave others to get the space, it won't be a very big loss. So on average, you can put 350, 300. If those who don't wish to get disturbed in removing and so on, they can even put 250. So you give them enough space.
You're talking about space because we have a vertical and a horizontal.
Yes.
Draw for us a picture. Is it the same space that we're talking about?
When you're planting and you feel you want to give enough space, you can give 17 feet by 17 feet. From the plant, you give 17. In the line, you give 17. that one it won't disturb you removing it all the time, anytime within the harvesting. But if you feel like you have time to remove some plants with time, you can make 15 by 15, 10 by 15. Yes, you can harvest for some years, then after that you remove. It won't be a very big loss at all. And first we love that, because there's no need for us to leave the space, because these trees will meet each other in the next 4 years. Why? Better if you harvest in the first 4 years, then you give them enough space.
Is it the same space to the all species? No, none of the species grows better than the other. And I mean, in hugeness of the plant.
We realize there is no bigger difference, because these mangoes of ours, all of them start giving you fruits when they are quite young, very, very short. That even a baby of 2 years can pick some mangoes. You see a tree like this one, we've harvested from this tree for about 5 years to 6 years, but you see how it is. Even a baby of a baby of 2 years to 3 years can pick a mango and eat. So there's no big worry when we are planting. They're almost the same. I think when you move around the farm, even a baby who doesn't even stand can even move and go under the tree and pick a mango. You can see the other side where the apple is. So these mangoes are well improved. With they put on in a very short time when they are very short. So they don't need much space when they are in the first years of the harvest.
In that still on planting, give us a picture of how big is that pit that you dig, and how do we plant?
When we are planting, there's nothing much complicated when you're planting, because even digging the hole where I put the tree, it's just 2 feet by 2 feet. You make wide 2 feet and deep 2 feet. And when you have some manure, organic manure, you try to mix in the soil when you're planting. But if the soil is very good, like ours here, we don't put much manure when you're planting. And that's the best, that's the truth about the most of the soil in Uganda. We are lucky to have a very fertile land. I think in Africa, there's no need, much need for applying manure everywhere. And these mangoes, this is why I've liked them so much. They are much resistant to each and every condition. They are the plants. They are one of the fruits which can survive in any kind of condition, whether drought. They are so resistant to any weather changes. They are so resistant to pesticides, to pests which affect them. So planting is very simple, and it's not so much complicated. So after planting, what you need to always take care of, because these are grafted mangoes. They graft them with another species of mango. Normally we graft them with the indigenous plants. So when you plant it, and it picks and brings the flowers, you know, is to check in the garden to see that there are no some branches coming from the indigenous one, because if you delay, it will kill this one grafted with. Then at the end of the day, you blame someone who sold to you the seedling, that he sold to you the indigenous species, but because it was your delay. Those are some of the tips that we take through the farmers which want to join the mango farming. Very simple, and even spraying, because right now almost everything that you do, you need to fight pests. Because we wonder why the pests are so much these days. Because we no longer have forests where they used to hide. So any plant that you put there is their only food, is their only hideout. They always attack them. So you try to kill them, to apply something that can make these plants grow well, at least once in a month. Then in a short period of 2 to 5 years, 2.5 years to 3 years, you start seeing some good mangoes coming.
Let's talk about the maintenance, because you have done the planting.
Yes.
What does it take to cater for a tree of mango, whatsoever species does, and you try to differentiate in between the species? They need different care. Like you give it care.
A mango is a mango, just as I've said. Mango is a mango. There's no species which requires much care compared to the other. You give them equally same care. If it's checking to avoid the indigenous one to shoot up, the same. If it is spraying to avoid to fight the fungal diseases, it's the same. If it's spraying to fight the pests which affect them, the same. There's no special care basing on the species. And what I want to tell you is that caring for mangoes is it's the most easiest thing that you can do, even when you're employed somewhere very far. You come once in a month, you look at your plants, you apply something, then you go back, come after a month. Only that when maybe they start flowering, that's when maybe you can try to come twice in a month, and you wait for the time of harvesting. Yeah.
So we are seeing a lot of grass in the garden. What do you do about it? What does it take for you? Doesn't it affect your gardens?
No, that's why I say that mangoes are very good, because the reason why we graft with the indigenous one, I think when you move in the villages, in the rural areas, you'll find an indigenous mango in the forest when it has put on mangoes, and nobody weeds where it stays. So by grafting with the indigenous one, there is that gene that we take. So these small grass around there is not all that a very big problem. Though for the purpose of people moving in, those who are caring and so on, for reducing a lot of grass which can maybe support these pests to keep within the farm, we do always slash. There's no need for digging all the time. So that's why I say that even the maintenance becomes very easy. Other kind of crops you have to dig, you have to remove this and that, how that's the cost. But when you have the farm like this, 15 acres, you only need someone to have a slasher. You keep on slashing to remove this out, to reduce these weed growing. And that's enough.
Talked about pruning. When am I supposed to start doing the pruning?
Pruning, we do always pruning because these mangoes require direct sun, direct light. Because when you don't have enough light, it will affect the flowers. You have to follow down. Because when the flowers are there, they need this light or the sunshine. It aids this process of the pollination and so on. And we need this light, because when these mangoes don't fail to get enough sunlight, they don't change. You see, this is Tommy. It's the same type of this. The only difference is that this one got enough sunlight. This one didn't get. And when you take the market, this one will be much attractive to the buyer. This one someone will think, no, this is not Tommy. I think this is Kent. So if a farmer, if a consumer is much interested in Tommy, it will take you much time to convince him that this is Tommy. So we need this direct light in the farm, because it supports the flowering. Some farmers always complain, I have my mango plants, but since I planted them, they never put on mangoes. And always it's a problem of not pruning, because each flower that comes, it requires the sunlight, so that the process takes place of within these flowers to bring these small mangoes, and the mangoes keep on growing. So that's why we need to do often the pruning. You don't need to have a thick forest within the mango farm. No.
So let's talk about some of the challenges that you face, because you are talking too good that you are even making other those who are.
Yeah, always there will be.
What are some of the challenges that you have faced so far?
Yeah.
In your old time of growing mangoes.
Where there are good things, there is at least some bad things alongside the good things. The challenges are not many, That's why I'm not talking about many challenges, but still we have the challenge in the people who produce the pesticides, because normally the quality changes. We would need, actually need people who produce quality pesticides, which can really fight some strong pests which affect these mangoes. And quality assurance, I think, is much required in that area. Normally when we go there to buy, you just buy, you can't know. But you realize that you applied something but didn't work well, and you really see from the products that you produce. And once you produce the product which is not good, it will affect the market so much. So that's one of the challenges. Another challenge is that we wish to do value addition on these.
Before you go into the value,
yes,
we shall talk about that. What are some of the pesticides or the herbicides that you do apply on these mangoes?
They keep on changing because.
Do you use chemicals?
Do you
use chemicals? That's one. If you use, I mean the pesticides and herbicides. What are these pesticides or herbicides that you use?
We have many companies producing, and normally in Uganda, I think the common known companies that produce chemicals, which we use for killing some of the pests. We have Bukola, the Bukola producers of chemicals, and we have the Osho. I think these are the major ones producing. But also emphasize using, but we also think in the direction of using organic, because there are some of these pesticides we keep on reducing them all the time because they're always good. In our farm, we use chemicals at a certain extent, because we are aware that they're not always good when you use them, when you overuse them. So the few that we use are produced by Bukola chemicals and Osho chemicals producers. So that is it. And at the time, some months before the harvest, we completely remove the chemicals in the farm. And we apply the method of arresting some of these fruit flies, which are so dangerous to these fruits, and it's which most of the farmers are crying for. So we've tried to fight them so much by arresting those fruit flies, which at times affect but these plants. That's why you see that you can pick a mango from the tree and just wash a bit and start enjoying when it's ripe. This, you can't find it in most of the farmers because it's one of the things that kills the quality of what you produce. We are happy that at Kilizo farm we have quite a production, quite a fruits coming from here.